So let's run through this. I only have about 30 minutes to give you the whole rundown of the hemp industry as I see it. You should know that although it's possible, Sean Murphy today said, Doug, you've been in more hemp fields than anybody else on the planet over the last 24 months. And I thought about it, and that may be true, and that's what a blessing. But if it's true, but let's say in Kentucky, rapid changes in Kentucky, new commissioner, rapid changes everywhere. I know like a half dozen Kentucky farmers. They approved over 100 projects last year. So I'm giving you an overview and a smear and a discussion topic, okay? And let's talk about where my motivation comes so that there's no confusion. My motivation comes from if we rebuild topsoil by a few inches, we mitigate climate change, whatever the cause of climate change. So I think about this, it all comes home for me, people. This is not hypothetical for me. This is not academic for me. That top middle photo is a 130,000 acre wildfire behind my ranch in New Mexico. That's from my porch. That scared a bear into killing most of my goats in front of my entire family. It was terrifying and terrible. And I'm not trying to say when crazy floods strike a coastal native Alaska village or a Bangladeshi village, it's a little bit bigger even than losing a few goats, but they were family and they provide my protein and I meditated with them every day and midwifed them. So, and then there's the floods. That was 2006, my river crossing I have to cross to get out of my ranch. Unprecedented stuff, not my van, thankfully. But as a father, it really actually comes back to literal and metaphorical roots. So my family, we like this show, Canadian show, How It's Made, or How It Works, or whatever it is. And every time you watch, it could be guitar strings, it could be auto product doors, which actually sometimes, as we know, have hemp. Whatever it is, somewhere in the middle, it seems like you hear the material is then washed in a chemical bath. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. My kids play with those Matchbox cars. What do you mean chemical bath, okay? So when we're literally going back to our roots, shorthand, since we're talking about the state of the hemp industry, our epoxies, glues, binders, the shit that I need to keep away from poisoning my family today, biomaterials, hemp and other biomaterials. When we say literal roots, the healing, back to the healing of the soil, hemp's taproots, as you see in that slide, unusually long for an annual. This is old news. Nebraskan ranchers tell me that they would plant that right on the irrigation ditch. First, that meant planting season was on us, because once that was planted, there wasn't going to be a flood that year, no matter how wet it got, because of the taproots, okay? Right? So that's really, when you're talking about healing soil, it's about the roots. This is from my organic corn stalk. This is the roots from I was walking to the car and one of my sons suggested I take it because I was talking to him about the difference in what happens to the soil aeration, which allows the microbes to grow, and outside under God's sun. Yeah, sounds nice, doesn't it? So you get it. It's about the planet. Just to take a step back and start, for those who don't know me, my name is Doug Fine. I'm a solar-powered goat herder, journalist, author, and now making a television series. We were going to show you a little clip from the pilot tonight, but it's called Growing Season, one of two announcements for tonight. That was the first one. Growing Season, keep your eyes open for it. May fall at the earliest as far as premiere, but we're having a great time doing what I've done in my books, Hemp Bound 2, How to Fail, First Legal Harvest, all available here. Which is just document this amazing phenomenon of growth of not just a single plant returning, but a new economy. Ryan Laughlin, the hero of 2013's planting in Colorado, is just talking to him about the miracle of the federal law change that allows hemp. Is everybody here, is there anyone who doesn't know about the federal farm bill provision in hemp? If not, I'm happy to explain it. Okay, so basically, cannabis prohibition officially ended for the first time on the federal level in the 2014 Farm Bill when, under research provisions, hemp, as today, for a little while, hopefully, is defined as 0.3%. I went to interview Tom Massey, a Republican congressman from a dry county in Kentucky, and his first words out of his mouth was, "Do we need to raise the THC limits for hemp?" I was like, pinch me. Did a Republican senator from Kentucky just ask me that question? I mean, really, right? I was like, April Fool's? No. That was a beautiful top right Colorado field last year. Flowers, as we all know, a big market. But what I want to talk about is a concept called tri-cropping that I kind of started thinking about in Hempbound. And it's basically this. From one harvest, a regenerative community or individual, group of families, whatever it is, handles vertical integration and uses the plant in 3 areas. The first one is seed/flower, the second is fiber and herd, and the third is my favorite that's proving thus far the slowest out of the gate, but slow and steady wins the race, and that is, any guesses? Energy. For those who said CBD, that falls under flower applications, as we'll see. I want to see energy independence through biomass and biomaterials, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's start with the obvious. This was the big market before the U.S. prohibition ended. This was Canadians now crossing the billion-dollar retail market. These are my friends in Vermont. We harvested, and then we processed. On the left there, John is a 5th-generation seed oil processor. He said, you know, my granddad grew our fuel to get people to work or to school, and it was oats for the horses. This field right here, we're planting together this year, this field is going to be energy too. It's going to be energy for the tractor, and it's going to be energy for our bodies. And this is not like a tree hugger. This is a guy, this is like many farmers who gets it, you know, like everybody here today. But that was some of the first hemp oil from Vermont. We made a salad out of it for an episode of the show. It was really fun. Okay, so seed oil, big. I recommend it. Organic, organic, organic. If you don't like USDA or organic, let's agree on something better. Let's incorporate fair trade practices. But it's a big story you can ask me about after today for questions, and there are always tons of questions. Also, I'll be happy to sign books. I'll be in the NHA lounge, that sort of lounge of couches in the center, and just come and find me afterwards for a little 15 or 20 minutes. But if you want to know further explanation, if you need me to explain why organic only hemp, I'll do it at another time, but it's something I feel strongly about. Nutraceuticals company, as we've heard today from Ed Lehrberger here in Colorado. And I mean, look at it. That's the healing of the nation right there. It's what the Rastafarians call the cannabis plant. CBD and nutraceuticals. This is part of the sub-theme today of It's All About the Soil is big ag, small ag. There's room for it all. There's room for it all in the coming regenerative economy. I just want to point out that when we're talking about Walmart-level stocking of decent, let's say cannabinoid-type products, nutraceutical products, that's fine. Personally, I shop for farmers market type things, people that hand harvest, that grow by the strictest standards. It all works. It's all good. This is the Fat Pig Society here in Colorado, a farmers cooperative, and their product is rendered in organic coconut oil, and by the way, the coconut oil comes from a women's collective in Fiji, and it's awesome product. They're here today. So basically, what they do at Fat Pig Society, and my friends in Vermont too, is render by decarboxylation, heating, and lipids. Okay, that's how they extract bioavailable nutrients, terpenes, cannabinoids, bioflavonoids from the plant. Think about it if you're getting involved in this industry. CO2, pretty clean. A lot of energy output. I did an interview the other day, said, hey, can you put solar powers and power this? They're like, a lot of panels. So it's a lot of energy. Come on, we got to think about every step of the process now, people. 9th inning for humanity, right? You can't just start an industry that sounds good but also churns tons of fossil fuels. Come on, right? So on to another, switching to the second leg of tri-cropping is fiber. For those who haven't seen the structure of the plant, you peel off that incredible long bast fiber on the outside, and the sort of green level there, I don't know if this laser point, yeah, it works there, that stuff. And that's the incredible fiber. It goes into the shirt that my sweetheart made, and a million other applications, including next generation batteries, but we'll get to that. The herd in the middle, I like, besides construction, which we'll talk about, I like pet bedding. Antimicrobial, the Queen of England beds her horses on hemp herds. Since my job here is state of the industry, I guess on hemp building, I would say think beyond just hempcrete. A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. I think beyond just hempcrete. Couple of examples: 3D printing. Now, I'm giving you pros and cons, right? Just state of the industry. Colorado-grown hemp printed on a 3D printer from a Colorado company. LF Objects, come on. No more Pacific Garbage Patch, right? So theoretically, you can do this with houses, household objects. Now, here's the question. You're in Botswana. You're a builder. It's affordable. You get the project. You get the printer. You get the designs. You're a good engineer in Botswana. How's customer service when the ink flow jams? It's an issue, but a resolvable issue. Likewise, for other construction modes, I live in the Southwest. Adobe is a factor. Great. I mean, it's what everybody's lived in since humans have lived there, right? Where does hemp fit into that? In a lot of places. But even Hempcrete, this was a study I talked about in Hempbound, done at the University of Manitoba. Even Hempcrete is a fantastic insulator. Many people know about the carbon sequestering and the nice R factor, the insulation factor. It's easy to use, low energy on site, start to finish, easy to build with. A new model is enzymatic decortication, breaking down the fibers into material that can be sprayed in for insulation. Again, every time you're talking about high power output, I'm just inserting that because maybe we'll solve that problem one day and then we can spray stuff on and use CO2 extractors. You don't really need a huge skill set. Many of you saw JP's fabulous demos here at NoCo, and I've been following him for the show. And he puts me to work, and it's not hard to build with Hempcrete. There's even videos, I think, on my site. This is one of the things I'm most excited about. My good friend Andrew Stoll, one of these like real, genuine people. Okay, he's a good guy. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here. So he's operating on hemp on a lot of levels, and he's got a lot of energy, and it's all legit. It's all good stuff. And on top of all of that, basically like righteous investing modes and business incubators and all that stuff. His other thing, here it is. His other thing is, okay, I guess I'll just buy a heating unit and a laser printer, a 3D printer. Talk about early adoption. And I'll work on this mode of trying to perfect a plastic coil that can print these goats and then these houses and these household appliances. And here it is. It's from Colorado. We were just visiting again, and I was thinking as I was watching him unpack this 3D printer that, first of all, you're not going to Target and buying 3D printers at the moment. But you don't have to go outside of Colorado for the hemp or the finished product or the printer. They're all Colorado companies. So I was thinking, in truth, when we look back on this is going to be like Pong. Do you know what I mean? The video game, like, oh my God, remember when they were clunky, like this is the cell phone that's like this, So that's where we're at on that. But God bless you for thinking about all our futures, Andrew. And again, let's reduce that patch. There's the LF Objects printer. Show of hands, how many people are aware of the fact that your next Tesla might have hemp-based batteries in it? It's one of the best, coolest things that's happening in hemp, the energy side. I'm so excited about it. It comes from this fiber. Here's my favorite thing, interview with David Mitlin about the I'll take questions at the end. One of the guys involved in the research with the hemp batteries, completely agnostic, not a hempster at all at the time. Everybody seems to become one once they study hemp, but totally agnostic. It was just he was dispatched with finding Canadian-grown fiber applications for energy, and it was like Edison. It was like the 73rd one he tried, and it kept outperforming all these other materials. And I'm like, my mouth's dropping, right? I'm like, this changes everything, and so I'm like, well, but was it manicured, beautiful fiber hemp that was like super, prima donna treated, right? Like a high intensity crop? And he said, no, I think we just sent some graduate students to shovel up some fiber at a farm and bring it up because the Canadians don't do anything with it. And I took that as a great sign because we're all in a learning curve right now, right? We don't quite know what the markets are for fiber, but silage them up. And it's going to be good for something. Just pay attention, right? Read all the good new media about hemp. And Ji Lee, he was involved in that study as well. He's an awesome dude who's looking for a job, by the way, because when Mitlin changed colleges, his postdoc, Ji Lee, got orphaned, and he was involved in that research. Great guy. Okay, so this is like the genie wish here, right? Just a point I got to mention. It all really sounds good to generate all this issue, but as many of the experts have been talking about over these last 2 days, it's a lot about building markets and developing markets, and we have hurdles, especially in utilities and power. Simply stated by Bill Althouse, Colorado hemp farmer, who's one of my chief hemp advisors. He's so dang smart. And he says, in Europe, you have a right to your energy, and you could sell back to the grid. In the U.S., the utilities hold all the cards. Guess what? Again, right? By, for, and of the people, we all believe in it, and we may have some battles ahead in that realm. But we'll win them, right? Right? Political involvement and taking no shit. Oh, I guess I'll just vote for the one that's corrupt but not as bad. I really like gasification. It's an anaerobic heating source. It's really nice for communities in India all around the world. In fact, I had a video that I meant to pull up for you guys today, but if you later on do a YouTube search under India rice factory power or gasification units, 1S, they from the hulls of the rice that they grow, that's how they power their rice facility and like much of the town. It's a fantastic option while we're still at combustion. As many of you know, hemp fiber is already in door panels. It's now actually in tractors that are harvesting hemp. How nice if that Tesla and or other similar models were not only made partly out of hemp but powered by hemp supercapacitors and hemp batteries. Did you guys see the bike out there today? The hemp bike that was powered by a supercapacitor is fantastic. You know, so look, I make a big deal in Hempbound of riding around in this hemp limo powered by hemp fuel, and it was a really good time. We filmed it for the television show as well, and that's fantastic. But I'm just making the plug here. Let's all you smart thinkers and forward thinkers, let's get beyond combustion. Let's think about what we can do through biomass and other realms, or how about parabolic solar, something that's simple to power our needs. I'm just amazed at the way that apps are developing and people are coming up with new and cool things that I didn't know about all the time. Yesterday I learned a new stat. Only 0.5% of Americans have hemp. Did I say 0.5%? Yeah, less than 1%. Half of 1% of Americans have hemp in their homes. So what does that tell me right now? That tells me that every single person that is here involved in hemp is my partner, is my ally. Because if I'm doing something in hemp, and I am doing something in hemp, I'll tell you about it. If I'm doing something in hemp, we need market saturation. And you know, I feel slightly safe supporting other people, from a bottom line standpoint, when 99.5 of the market hasn't yet been reached. We are co-marketers for all of us, and therefore do it right and sustainably and organically, and treat your people well, and think about your customers like they're your own family. Next generation mentality, regenerative stuff, karma matters. How many people have learned that lesson from the cannabis plant? I have. Yeah. Oh, so hempc.com. Really wanted it to have launched by today, the next week, maybe two. Hempc.com, artisan products for the soil. I'm hearing all these great, monster, huge plans, and they're awesome. And I want that Kentucky farmer that's growing enough to make 100 pairs of awesome, incredible, last forever sandals a year, to be able to feed his or her family from that. So we're giving really good, and if you are an artisan, just mark your calendars. Anyone's got a calendar like for April, how about 420? And look at hempc.com, hemptsy.com. I've got tons of these things, and I'll show you a slide. But you can upload for, basically, it's going to be free to upload for a while, and then cheap, and then 3% on the other end. So better than stores treat artisans. We want to do better than Etsy and all those places, better than Amazon, and treat you the artisans, and give you guys a way to make a living. So this is kind of the duh slide. You know, another agnostic up in Canada said, yeah, petroleum's not going to work. We got to go. So, but is there supply? Is there supply in U.S.? That's one Colorado harvest last year. That's a second Colorado harvest, different place last year. So yeah, I was talking to I've had at least 3 or 4 conversations with farmers, established farmers this year, who said to me today and yesterday on camera, I'd say, hey, it was great visiting your field. That was a really nice 72 acres. How many are you growing this year? And he or she would say, between 3,000 and 7,000. I'm like, what? Just in Colorado. Exponential growth. This is processing of pure vision. That's to catch the trichromes. Boy, did I stink on my flight the next day. Somehow security didn't really care. So I changed that slide this morning from 10,000 to 20,000 based on what farmers told me yesterday here that they're growing just in Colorado. This thing's taking off, people. This thing's taking off, right? So in the end, why? Why did it take off? Because farmers are business people, right? And let's create a living for them. Look, if your role here is to be a consumer or investor, look for people that are trying to rebuild communities and keep their soil and water healthy, that have vertical integration, that, I'm sorry, I am not anti-capitalist. I think our system is better than any other experiment that's ever been done. As a traveling journalist, the first thing you learn is in supposed countries where people supposedly don't like us, about 90% of the population dreams every day of getting to our shores because of the wealth and the freedom that we still enjoy in the Patriot era, and it's a great country. And, makes mistakes like cannabis prohibition, right? But, we can't have legal hurdles for people that want to cultivate cannabis. Just don't stand for it anymore. And you don't need to stand for it anymore. And it's hard work. I mean, on the left there, we're forming a co-op in Vermont. And so my friends, and they've taught me a lot, these Yankees, they're hard-working Yankees. Robin's a waitress, 2 kids, and they were harvesting by headlamp. And when I was at Hemp in Netherlands, the Dronker's family are here today, longest established hemp company in Europe. 20 years they've been in operation, and their managing director, Mark Reinders, was telling me, dude, we got to pivot all the time. We got to find new markets for their herd. They were jerry-rigging their harvesters to reflect the new CBD flower market. It's entrepreneurial, people. Don't expect to sit on your butt, but we want it, don't we? We're not going to let it not succeed. That's what people don't understand. And for that, we need good politicians. Hey, man, this is my message. Obviously, we love Jared Polis here, don't we? Round of applause. He'll be speaking a little bit later on. That said, this is not a Democratic or Republican issue here. And there are, at this point, I would venture to say, nearly as many nationwide Republicans in office that support hemp as Democrats. Maybe not quite right. It's the first question you got to ask, because it's about the survival of our species. Kentucky, yes. My state, New Mexico, yes. Widely passed a bill, bipartisan, for hemp, and governor vetoed it. So it's okay. It's given us time to plan it. We're not falling behind. It's all fine. Okay, I'm getting the signal. I like farm to table. This is the decarboxylation and lipids. It's hard work. It's hard work, people. Hemp and other kinds of cannabis, I've heard people say, oh, genetically different plants, blah, blah, blah. Not in the Garden of Eden. They live well together. Think about benefits to everybody. We have to rebuild the gene pool, obviously. A huge discussion. We can talk about it in Q&A in the lounge. And here we go. Let's forget about THC, people. Let's forget about THC. If it's in a final product, activated, decarboxylated, regulated like alcohol, duh. But for that, what difference does the plant make? If you're doing an industrial epoxy or an edible seed, it has no bearing on it. In fact, this 0.3 nonsense of THC limit, state of the hemp industry, 2016, is gotta go. It's gotta go. Oh gosh, so I don't have time to get into this. Big farmer, small farmer, it works. You just have to have good business models. These were some videos I was going to show of big and small farming. This is me scared at my effort as a goat herder to try big farming. Oh my God, I almost wrecked like $1 million machine. There's auxiliary industries. Have fun, people, with it. That's another message. Let's get that commercial cultivation passed on the federal level so we can stop worrying at all about anything related to hemp. Climate change is real. Let's fight it. It's a big tent. We're all part of this, people. I was going into a tobacco smoking barn in Kentucky. That's the reason for the gas mask there. Let's see. There's good literature around here. Let's all make our families healthy. It's a rotational crop. It's not the be-all, end-all. Think not just hemp, but biomaterials of all kinds. It all comes back to the soil. There will be a McHemp sandwich one day, and everybody can win. I'll be signing Hempbound and First Legal Harvest, which is printed on hemp. And remember, think about it. More than bottom line, guys. The heart and the karma is going to win in the long run. Thanks for marking your calendars. Check Hemp 420. Hemp Array. God bless you all. And thanks for coming today.